Hi guys, it's album review time. We've got Sarayasign and Shadows of the Dying Light. This album is coming out on the 31st of October on Black Lodge Records. It's the new label the band are signed to. Ain't they a lucky label as well to have this brilliant band signed to them? Sarayasign are a Swedish cinematic rock meets melodic metal band. If you think of their influences, which they cite as Jon Londe, Evergrey, Alan Londe, you can understand what sort of sound you're getting from these guys, but they are definitely their own entity as well. This is the third album from this brilliant band. And thanks to the band for sending me it early, by the way. Thanks to the label and the band for sending me early. I really do appreciate that, as I always do. Looking back at their past albums, they haven't put one foot wrong. They seriously haven't. They exploded onto the scene with Throne of Gold in 2022. Back that up with the brilliant The Lions Road in 2023, and now they're back with the new album, Shadows of the Dying Light. So this follows the story of the Sarayasign concept, if you like. Every album is a concept album, every album is a story it follows on, and that carries on just the same as it was. For all you Sarayasigns are worried about, as well as the brilliant music that we always get, the story also emphasises everything that this band is about. So produced by Jacob Herman. He's done some work with Evergrey, and mixed by Jacob Hansen from Volbeat, Evergrey, Pretty Maids. Man, I mean, when you listen to a Sarayasign album, it's not just the brilliant songwriting, the songs themselves, the excellent technical play, the amazing work that the band put out. It's also they bring the best producers, and they've used Jacob Hansen again as they did on the last album, and what a choice that is. But Jacob Herman is a lot to do with this. You can check my interview out I did with Jesper Lindberg just about a week ago, talking about the album and the sound of the album. Really cool insight and why they've chosen Jacob Hansen again, and of course Jacob Herman as well is on board. And it's the best sounding album, if that's possible. The other two albums sounded amazing, especially the second album, The Lions Road. This one, it's got an even better sound. It's just huge sounding. A brilliant produced album, absolutely amazing, and you need that to capture the almost epic grandeur feel of Sarayasign, their music. It's the perfect producers to come along and do that, and mixers to do that. It really does capture everything that Sarayasign are all about, and each time there's a step up from this band. The amazing step up from The Lions Road to Throne of Gold. Now you've got Shadows of the Dying Light. If you didn't think there could be a step up, there is. It's just, they never let you down. Whether it's in the orchestral parts on this, the atmospheric parts. It's a huge sounding album. Emotional, intense. It's got everything. And the storytelling to go, put you right into the thick of the action, if you like. You just put your headphones on, man, and you just let yourself immerse in the story and the music. They take you on a ride. They really do. And I love my history with this band. It goes right back to the beginning, when Jesper sent me like the first single. And I look at it back now and I think it's quite, it amuses me because things can almost pass you by. Music can pass you by so easily. I get bombarded sometimes with emails and messenger, messages and, Facebook messages just asking to listen to bands, and stuff like that. And I always try my hardest, obviously, to give it a listen. And this email came through from Jesper, not all them years ago, 3 years ago, maybe a bit more, asking if I'd give it a go. And I remember leaving it about a week or something like that. I'm thinking, okay, I will listen. And when I heard it, I don't think, I've been so jaw-dropping when I would say when I first heard that first song. And I thought, man, this band, It's the first song. What are they? What I've got to find out more. And before you know it, they were on the scene and become one of my favourite bands. Just amazing. They really are. So my history with the band, I've been right from the beginning. I'm quite proud of that. To say I've been there from the beginning and had at least 3 interviews now with the band, including with Stefan and Jesper. So let's talk about the people in the band themselves. You've got the amazing Jesper Lindberg. This is a guy who, you know, wrote these stories years and years ago when he was younger, and he's brought them to life now, and he's managed to get them together. And he's, you know, just to speak to him and talking about the passion of the music is amazing. So he, as well as doing the songwriting, drums, rhythm guitars, keyboards, loops, soundscapes, you know, he's just the heart and soul of Sarayasign. His drumming is amazing on this album as well. You know, he talks a lot in the interview he did with me about the work he does with Jacob Herman, who's more of a drum producer as well. Really made him work his arse off, and you can really tell there's some great double kick work in here. He's so busy across the drums. You know, you could tell with Jesper, with the songwriting, it's all about the band, the story, and the music first. But you can really hear him working his arse off, like I said, on this album. He sounds amazing. And of course, with Jacob Herman producing, you know, those drums, oh, they sound amazing. And then you got Peter Lundin on the lead and rhythm guitars. Peter made his appearance, first of all, on the Lions Road on the second album. What a difference he made to that album. The groove, the memorable solos was the first thing I thought. He really hones in on those solos that almost remind me of a few decades back when guitarists, it weren't just about how fast they played it, as how could they make it memorable. That's what Peter Lundin does. Stefan Ingves, man, on lead vocals. If you're going to have an epic story, if you're going to have an epic sound to a band, you know, why not get someone who's like a cross between Dio, Jorn Londe, David Coverdale? The guy is outstanding. He's one of the best vocalists around. You know, when you're talking about new vocalists on the scene, we always talk, don't we, about Dino Chalusic and Jorn and people like that. There's loads of great vocalists about. Stefan is up there with the best. He is amazing. One of my favourite vocalists. And you've got Daniel Lycaclev on the bass. Along with Jesper, I think the best he sounded as well. He sounds amazing. And it's, of course, it's the mix as well by Jacob Hansen that's really making every instrument stand out. And man, Daniel sounds amazing on this album. And also, I've got to give this massive shout out to Stella Larsen, who manages most of the background vocals, the backing vocals across this album. Brings an extra touch, an epic feel, almost choir-like feel to the songs. She's all over this album. Stefan's doing some backing vocals as well, but Stella is a brilliant addition to this album to give it a more grandeur, a beautiful feel, I would say. So massive shout out to her. So I'm going to go through the tracks and go through all the tracks because they're all amazing. Here we go. So the band kick off with Worlds Apart, Shadowlands. What a song to kick off. One of my favourite songs on the album. This is how you kick off an album. Tinkering piano, a little bit of rain. You get those little bits between the songs, you know, making the story meld together so well. And then the band just blasts into your ears and they're back. The Sarayasign sound is back. Third album in, energy off the charts. I've got to say, there's energy across this album that I don't think they've ever sounded this energetic. So heavy. There's so much clarity as well in the music. The stomping chorus on this song. Stefan just raising the bar again vocally. Amazing. All the signature sounds are there, and I was smiling ear to ear just, you know, listening to this huge track. There's a great bridge leading to the solo on this song, with the band just building and building. You can hear the momentum building and then making their way for Peter Lundin to execute the first of many outstanding solos. What a start. Then Watching It All Burn Away is the next track. Another beautiful quick intro at the beginning of this, and the band hits hard with a huge riff, man. This one to me gives me sort of Evergrey vibes. I think the huge sound, the beauty of the song as well. There's little nuances that Stefan executes on this song, so it does remind me a little bit of Tom England of Evergrey. It's got that sort of vibe running through his vocal style on this, but this is Stefan though, a powerhouse of a vocalist. A beautiful song that has beautiful melodic prowess, that is heavy too, sort of mixing the both. Almost a very heavy ballad. It's not a ballad, but it's almost got the feels of it a little bit sometimes. Peter Lundin this time playing most of the solo at the lower end of the neck. I love the solo on this. Outstanding song. The next song is Shades of Black, a heavy riff this time with atmospheric synths that giving you that extra feel of atmosphere that the band do so well. Sort of fast verses make their way to an almost half-time sort of modern metal chorus. I love the way they blend classic rock with modern metal sort of undertones as well. That's exactly what this song does. There's shades of White Snake, but ever grey at the same time, and all brought together with like this cinematic experience that they've got. It's just Sarayasign, man. And then we move on to Shadows of the Dying Light, title track. Amazing, one of the best tracks on the album, nearly 7 minutes long. Does anyone do epic as well as this band? I don't know, I don't think they do. This song has everything I love about them. After sort of the mellow intro, the band kick in, and it's just such a goosebump moment, man. It really is. They drift in and out of sort of light and shade in a brilliant track that is as good as anything Jesper has written for the band. Stefan shows his subtlety as well and power throughout this song. He's got so much control to his voice. Why he's one of the best vocalists around. An outstanding title track. From Ashes is the next track. Faster track, this one. It's another brilliant intro riff as well. Sort of heavy riffs, always also sort of gap in and out of the verses in perfect sort of tandem with Stefan's vocals. There's a couple of slight odd time signatures. They've got a little bit of prog running through their music sometimes. They're sort of dotted about to sort of highlight the band's, you know, slight prog influence. Jesper and Daniel, like a clever man, just nail the rhythm section on this track with some superb drums and bass. A really catchy hard rock song. And the next track is The Wanderer. Another one of my favourites. I know I'm saying my favourites all the time, but it's just one of those things. So this is the second single. I love the almost Queensryche minor key riff that kicks this song off. A huge ballad that is still as heavy as anything on this album. I'm saying ballad again. It's a bit similar to the other song that's like a ballad with teeth, as my mate Mark Coer would say. Tone, power in Stefan's vocals. He has it all, man. Like a mix of Dio, like I said, Coverdale. He just hits every note with sort of power and precision and above all, emotion. He runs through it. Peter Lundin matches that emotion, man, on this song with maybe my favourite solo on the record. Just beautifully written. Huge song. One Last Cry is the next track. This is the lead single. The perfect single choice as well to bring the band back, if you like. The song sort of represents what we already know and love and come to what to expect from this brilliant band. Fans of this band get it all here. They really do. His groovy riffs, beautiful textures, power and emotion are all over this track. Such a huge chorus that sort of burrows into your brain and doesn't let go by the time it's finished. The band are the real deal. They really are. The Nameless Ones is the next track. A busy metal riff. Just glues this all together, this song, in the verses. It's a more straightforward drum beat, I would say, from Jesper until we get to a really short bridge before the song just reaches another soaring chorus, man. I love the latter part of this song where Stefan and Peter Lundin sort of trade off against each other before the chorus closes out. Almost like a Perry and Sean moment, if you like. Amazing. The next track is the proper ballad of the album. And man, it's one of my favourite tracks the band has ever written. It's called Coming Home. We have had hints, like I said, of into ballad territory already for a couple of songs. But with Coming Home, this is it. This is the real deal of the ballad of the album. What a beautiful song, sort of filled with modern textures and the most beautiful chorus, man. The solos from Peter almost has a sort of Neil Schon about it. Again, a bit of Journey influence there, or I would say. It's what it sounds like to me. My fave ballad from the band until now was If Only for a Moment off of the debut, but I think that's changed. It really has. It's an amazing song. The next track is Walk Alone. Another faster track, and after the pure emotion of the ballad, the band explodes into the 10th track. It's a rocker for sure, probably about as classic rock as the band get on the album, with a guitar, really guitar busy track. It's a stomping song that sort of has so much groove again to the riffs. Would make a great show opener, I think. The next track is Bleeding Hope, the penultimate track. Again, I get a slight Queensryche vibe with Peter's opening solo that returns into the song as well later on in the song. I almost run out of superlatives really to say about this band, but this song again has everything you want from a modern melodic hard rock and metal band. You even get a slight touch of Maiden, I would say, with a bit of a whoa chant at the end. But again, this is Sarayasign. There's no one else that sounds like them, and there's never a doubt of that. And then we close off with the obligatory, long, epic Throne of Gold saga. So you get part 3, The Hidden Portal. Obviously, we've got part 1 and part 2 on the other albums. 8 minutes and 37 seconds long. This band really know how to end an album. Parts 1 and 2 were great, man, on the previous albums, but does this live up to those brilliant closers? Of course it does, because everything about this album is an improvement, I think. You know, even if it's, you know, how can you improve, if you like, on the other 2 albums? Well, they can. They really can. I love the dampened guitar work by Peter sort of during the verses. Almost reminds me a little bit of Lizzie Borden's Visualize song. Love it. The song takes a completely different direction, though, in true progressive style. Sort of a reasonably slow first part sort of marks the way to a great chugging fast section as well on this song. Whilst this is arguably the proggiest song on the album, in true Sarayasign style, the chorus is massive. You know, it's catchy as hell. The song is just packed with originality and pure epicness. So guys, this album is a no-brainer. I'm telling you now, you Sarayasign fans, if you're expecting brilliance, you're going to get it. Shadows of the Dying Light, 3rd album from this band, is amazing. 31st of October, it's being released on Black Lodge Records. It's a no-brainer, like I said. Get it, order it, do whatever you've got to do to get this album. You will not be disappointed. See you soon.